Hey guys, this is Algebra 2, Chapter 1.5 Notes, Part 1. Today we're going to be talking about addition and subtraction of real numbers. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Example number 1. It says to use a number line to represent each problems. So for each one of these, I'm going to draw a number line. Even though some of these might look simple, there's 5, and there's 10. So this is saying 2 plus 5. So that means we're going to start at 2. We are adding, so we're going to add 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And our answer is 7. Okay, let's do it again. Except here, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 5. We're starting with negative, so we're going to start at negative 1 right here. We're going to add, but we're adding negative 4. So we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4. We are adding a negative 4, so we go backwards. And our answer is negative 5. And let's look at this last one. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 5, negative 10. We are starting at negative 8. And we're going to add 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we added 12 and we get a positive 4. Okay, so that's how we use a number line to show if we're how to add. Okay, let's move on to adding integers with the same sign. All right, so the key thing right here is that we are going to add, and we add with the same sign. They're going to keep their sign. We do not change them. Okay, so negative 5 plus negative 4, add those numbers up, and you get negative 9. Now, if you want a visual representation of this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negatives over there. We have 4 negatives. How many do we have all together? We have negative 9. Okay, for B, 13.1 plus 5.2. Whenever I'm working with decimals, I like to line them up so it's easier to add. 1 plus 2 is 3. Keep the decimal. 3 plus 5, 8. And then 1. So there's our answer for B. For C, we're going to do the same thing. We've got decimals. Even though they're both negatives, we are adding them. Okay, let's start. 8 plus 7 is 15. I'm going to carry the 1. 6 plus 6 is 2. Carry the 1. And we get negative 22.5. And for D, let's look at D. Before we do anything, we have to find a common denominator, which means we have to find the LCD of 4 and 7. So I'm going to count by 4s till I see a number that they both go into. And it's 28. So we have to change these, so negative 3 over 4 and negative 5 over 7. So we have to multiply the first one by 7. 3 times 7 gives us negative 21. In the bottom, we multiply by 4, and we get negative 20. Now, these are the fractions that we're going to be using now. So we got negative 21 over 28 plus negative 20 over 28. The denominator stays the same. And then add the numbers up top. Can we reduce that? No. All right. Adding numbers with different signs. Now, what I like to do when we're doing this is I like to play war. Okay? What's bigger, the positives or the negatives? Okay, negatives are bigger. By how much? Well, for that we have to subtract. And you're always going to subtract the bigger number from the smaller number. 17 minus 5 gives us 12, and that's a negative 12 because the negative's 1. Okay, so right away I know this is going to be negative. Now B, what's bigger, positives or negatives? For this one, the positives are bigger, so we know our answer is going to be positive. But now we are going to subtract those numbers. Okay, can I take 3 from 2? No, we have to borrow, we can't borrow from the 0, so I have to borrow from the 5. That becomes a 9 and 12. So 12 take away 3 is 9, 9 minus 8 is 1, and 4 minus 2 is 2. So our final answer is a positive 219. Let's look at C. What's bigger, positives or negatives? The positives, so our answer is going to be positive. So now we're going to subtract those numbers because they have different signs. And you get 5. And it's a positive 3.5. Okay, let's take a look at D. What's bigger, positives or negatives? Oh my gosh, I have no idea. Because they don't have the same denominator. Let's find the LCD of 3 and 5. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 5, 10, 15. All right, so now I know that we have to take 1/5 and turn it to a number over 15 and a negative 2/3 over 15. Multiply the first one by 3 and the second one by 5. And you get 3 over 15 and negative 10 over 15. So those are what we're subtracting. 3 out of 15 plus negative 10 out of 15. So now, what's bigger, positives or negatives? And the answer there is negatives. All right, by how much? Well, that means we have to do 10 over 15 minus 3 out of 15. And our answer is 7 out of 15. And we just have to remember that that is a negative 7 out of 15. Okay? So when we're doing this, we need to remember that we are going to be playing war. Subtract, and that's the big number minus the small number, and the bigger number keeps the sign. All right, let's move on to example number 4, where these are just going to tell us to subtract. And now, anytime we see a subtraction, what we're going to do is we're going to add the opposite, okay? We want to change everything to addition so we have a better idea of what it's actually asking us, okay? So what this is saying is 4 minus 9 is really 4 plus a negative 9. And now that we're here, we get to play war, okay? What's bigger, positives or negatives? The negatives are bigger. By how much? 5. And that's going to be a negative 5. Okay, the 27 minus negative 12. I'm going to add the opposite. Well, now that just turns to plus. 27 plus 12, if you need to line them up, you get a positive 39. All right, add the opposite. Well, now we have different signs. What's bigger, positives or negatives? The negatives are. And now we subtract the big from the small. Borrow, and we get a negative 27.3. Okay, 5 over 6 minus 4 over 3. Add the opposite. I don't know what's bigger because we do not have an LCD. So I'm going to count by the multiples. So I want to know what the lowest one is, and the lowest one is actually 6. So we only have to change negative 4 over 3. And you multiply that by 2, and you get negative 8. So 5 over 6 plus a negative 8 out of 6. The negatives are bigger, so we know negatives are going to win. 8 over 6 minus 5 over 6 gives us 3 out of 6, and that's a negative, and that reduces to a negative 1/2. All right, that's it for chapter 1.5 notes, part 1. If you have any questions and if you need help with this, come see Miss Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. All right, that's it. Thanks, guys.